hardest part is the heat. The heat is just too intense.
Dozens and dozens of computer carcasses. Who knows who they belong to? Who knows how old they are? These kids are helping the adults weigh them. They'll get a few cents for it. But in the meantime, they were recycled by us. Sent here, and we just forgot about them.
We don't even spare the smallest bits of metal. After collecting them, we bring them here and sell them. Sometimes, when we come here, we cut ourselves on the glass. Once we heal, we go back to searching for metals.
My name is Giuseppe, and I have a mission: to explore the most remote corners of the planet, to meet guardians of ancient secrets, men and women with extraordinary stories, lives that can inspire us and make us see the world through different eyes. And to each of them, I will ask the most important question of all: what does happiness mean to you? A question so powerful that it reveals the deepest essence of humanity. Welcome to Project Happiness.
Look how it burns.
I told you not to make mistakes like that.
You were supposed to send your guide to check.
I couldn't because if they'd seen him, they would have told the others.
And next time, they'd have made him pay for it.
I probably said it many times, but I don't think I've ever seen a place like this in my life. It looks like a dystopian movie, but it's all real. We're actually walking in a place that holds a couple of world records, believe it or not. What you're seeing is the largest electronic and tech waste dump in the world. Beneath my feet are layers, dozens of layers of carcasses, microwaves, refrigerators, computers, cell phones, what's left of them. The second record is that this place, as you can tell from the column of smoke rising, is one of the most polluted places on Earth. And as if that weren't enough, over 40,000 people live here. They live inside this, and they live off of it, off exactly what you're seeing. At what cost, we'll find out. But what these workers do is gather the carcasses of these electronic devices, dismantle them, and extract anything that might have value, even tiny bits. As you can see, that's exactly what they're doing, burning wires to extract the copper. What we want to understand today is why all this technology ends up here. Why does it travel thousands of kilometers to get here and die in the world's largest tech dump, here in AGBOGBLOSHIE? AGBOGBLOSHIE is no ordinary dump. It's the symbol of a global injustice that's been going on for over 20 years in the heart of Ghana's capital, Accra. Every year, the world produces over 60 million tons of electronic waste. But only a small portion is actually recycled. The rest ends up in the poorest countries, often labeled as used or repairable equipment. But in reality, it's just waste, unusable scrap. In fact, over half the containers arriving in West Africa contain broken devices that end up here in AGBOGBLOSHIE. Men, women, and even children dismantle them. sell what's left of the carcasses, and then burn everything. No protection, no alternatives, just to survive. And all of this has a name: waste colonialism. Meaning rich countries export their waste, and the poor pay the price. And Ghana pays for it with the health of their people, with poisoned air and children growing up in one of the most polluted places on Earth. I don't even know how to explain it. The heat from these flames isn't normal heat. It seeps into your skin, into your bones. It's chemical. Everyone we've met and interviewed is telling us that this heat stays with them even after they've gone home. Even in the shower, when they try to cool off and rinse down, because their skin is already damaged by the heat and the chemical fumes that rise from these bonfire-like piles. And as you can see, there are so many young boys around us, 15 to 20 years old. They're the ones who have to work their way up to get a better job than this. So they come here every day, bent over, working, extracting as much copper as possible to get noticed by the leaders and try to move up, make a career, so to speak. That's what kids have to do here in AGBOGBLOSHIE to make it.
Even if I wash with cold water, I still feel the heat and pain in my body. Because when I stand like this, holding the iron, the copper has weight. So after lifting it like this, you have to press it against yourself and carry it. Then your bones, your back and skin start hurting.
The hardest part is the heat. The heat is too much. This place is a dump. I'm only here because I don't have money. If I had money, I wouldn't be here.
What would you do if you weren't here?
I have many plans. If I had money, I wouldn't be here. I'd move to Accra. I want to move downtown. That's always been my dream.
Each type of metal has a different price. You have to separate them and sell them one by one. Look at this. Look at this, like this. This one has copper mixed with iron. Once it burns, you can see the copper come out. If you gather a lot, you earn more. On bad days, you can only make 50 CD or 30 CD. Part of the money I earn goes to my brother and my mother. My brother studies in the north of the country, and I send money to help him. Sometimes I give myself strength by telling myself I'll leave here and find another job. This job is really tough. We get sick often. One day I'll stop and I'll find a different kind of job. I assure you this job is anything but easy.
Next to the dump runs a river, or at least it used to be. Now it's a thick, black liquid moving between waste, plastic, and metals. With such a sharp stench, it makes you instinctively look away. It's a dead river full of toxic gases, methane, ammonia, hydrogen sulfide bubbling on the surface. And that very river splits a world in two, Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what they call them here. On one side, Gomorrah, where cables are burned to extract copper. On the other, Sodom, where people live, trade, and survive, but always surrounded by the dump. Gomorrah burns, Sodom endures, and everything around breathes the same poison. This is one of the many entrances connecting the dump to the residential area. And as you can see, it crosses this channel, which has basically become an open-air sewer. Here, you find all the waste liquids from the dump, but also all the organic leftovers, all the trash the locals throw in here, because they have no other place to dump it. Clearly, there's no basic infrastructure here. There are no toilets. No one has a bathroom at home, for example. No one has a place to recycle garbage, obviously. I'm probably stating the obvious in a place like this, but it's important for you to understand the living conditions here in AGBOGBLOSHIE. They're unnatural. You can't live here. Yet so many people call this place home. This is exactly how it works when someone in the community needs to use the bathroom. Because, as we said earlier, there are no toilets in homes. No one has that luxury. So, there are these little shops. This is the cash box where you can pay less than a cent to get a piece of paper, which here serves as toilet paper, so you can use the bathroom. So, a gallon of water to clean yourself, and then into these bathrooms, which are basically empty rooms with a hole in the ground and candles for nighttime, obviously to light them and be able to see something while using the bathroom. Just imagine, these toilets are used by thousands of people.
Mine are the best. I'll buy this one from you.
Who knows how many owners these phones had? They don't work anymore. They're carcasses, but they still have value here. That's actually this guy's business, selling the carcasses of these ancient phones, which some people buy to take apart and extract the last grams of precious metal. There must be thousands of air fryers, kind of their graveyard here, and it makes me smile seeing so many because locals told us they're a new thing for them. Only in the last few years had they started receiving thousands and thousands of air fryers they had never seen before. Before they'd get ovens, microwaves, of course. Now it's a huge amount of air fryers arriving here, a direct result of our consumption and lifestyle choices in the West. Full of little shops, tiny stores where all these young guys have learned a trade. Basically, the trade of resurrecting all that tech, all those appliances that we consider dead. But here, they get a second life. Who knows how many lives they've already had, arriving here as waste, as junk, yet they're being brought back to life. Look, it's incredible.
He's my young apprentice. I'm training him. He'll eventually become a master and go out and work on his own.
He's working for you now?
Right, now he's working for me and still learning. Yes, he doesn't go to school. He's learning how to fix and repair fans so he can run his own business one day.
This kid is learning how to fix or assemble fans, and many children from the dump come here to learn a new trade, a slightly more humane job, let's say, compared to the others we've seen so far. But here's the irony of our technology. This is an air conditioning motor that gets attached to fan blades to make it work. And to me, it feels ironic. There are literally tons of kids working in the dump because in the end, the city they live in is the dump. Or maybe the dump is inside the city. At this point, there's no need to separate them. They're one and the same. But all these kids behind me have one basic job here, almost fundamental, at the base of the hierarchy of all workers here. They search for leftovers, fragments, shards of metal discarded by the older workers that are above them. They earn just a few cents, but it's enough to bring something home so they can eat at night with their parents, who maybe can't afford to send them to school. Now we'll try talking to them to understand their stories, their lives. These are the kinds of scenes that happen only by chance. And they're symbolic. It's like saying, didn't believe this is the world's tech trash? Well, here it is. We're looking at carcasses. Dozens and dozens of computer carcasses that who knows who they belong to or how old they were. They arrive here as waste, as trash. These kids are helping adults weigh them. They'll earn a few cents, but in the meantime, they were recycled by us, sent here, and we just forgot about them.
Come weigh this junk?
We're the metal police, and I'm the boss of all the kids. I trained them all for this job. We drag magnets across the ground and pick up metal bits. I chose the best kids for my team. I'm the boss. He is my deputy, and the others, they follow us.
What do you mean by boss?
I take care of all of them. We live together and have fun. If there are problems, I fix them. Sometimes I help them pay off debts with other friends. We try to avoid problems among ourselves.
And you, what do you do here?
My name is Mauli, and I'm part of the metal police here. We don't spare even the tiniest bits of metal. After collecting them, we bring them here and sell them. Some we use to buy food, and the rest we send home. Most of my friends are here, and we all do the same job.
What do you play after work?
After weighing the metal, we all play cards together. Sometimes we gamble before going home.
And your parents?
My father abandoned me, and that's why I ended up here. This job is okay, but I still wish I could go to school. But I don't make enough money, so I'm forced to come here.
These are probably the cards the kids were talking about earlier. They play with them, they gamble, betting the few cents they earn from trading, bartering, and collecting metal. And sadly, even at this young age, they pick up bad habits that only make their situation worse, which is tragic. They're actually heading to work now, and from what I see, they really do deserve the nickname Metal Police because they never miss a chance to search for every fragment. See the leader? He's dragging part of a car, I think. It's a magnet, a big magnet that he drags along the ground, collecting all the particles, shards, and fragments of metal that are very valuable to them. Now we'll go through here. Look where they're walking, barefoot. This is basically an open-air sewer, toxic. And I'll tell you in a moment how toxic it is, because you can't even imagine what they're walking on, what they're touching with their bare hands.
Grab them all. Hey, don't take the metals I already picked up.
I'm doing my job.
Hey, stop, or I'll slap you.
These are the good ones. You too. Put yours in. Put them with ours. Throw them in here.
These are the only ones.
Do it properly for once. This is copper. We'll sell it later. I add a bit of sand to mine before wetting them. Stop it! That's battery acid. Don't touch it. There's one over there. We put our hands in battery acid.
It's not easy to describe a day of work for these children. Their normal, everyday routine as they search for fragments of iron. But what's the problem? They are constantly, continuously in contact with the soil, now dead, suffocated by heavy metals. In fact, studies have shown that here in AGBOGBLOSHie, the soil is so contaminated that the land contains dangerously high lead levels, about 18,000 ppm, when the safety threshold should be no more than 400. Just imagine what they touch every single day. And it's not just the soil, it's the dead water of the river and the air filled with all these heavy metals rising up. Even I, after just a few hours here, can hardly breathe. My nose is so irritated, I'm tearing up constantly. But this is nothing compared to what they're exposed to. The land is killing them, the air is killing them, the water is killing them. They probably don't even know that their future is completely compromised as long as they stay here. But it's hard to explain the scene to you. Did you cut yourself there?
Yes.
See? He just cut himself. Everything you see on his hands is metal. Heavy metals. It's not dirt, I repeat. All the kids here have hands like this. That's what hits me the most. Their hands, their feet.
Sometimes, when we come here, we cut ourselves on glass. Sometimes it takes a long time to heal. Once we heal, we go back to searching for metals. Every time I come to this place, I wish my friends and I didn't have to work anymore. I want to go to school and become a footballer. That's my dream. I want to play football and earn money to take care of my family, my mom and my friends.
Yeah. I want to become a footballer when I grow up. I'll take care of my father and my family. I'll build houses for them and for myself, too. And my friends will have their own, too. We want to live together, like a family.
The wishes of these kids would be considered normal anywhere else. But here, they carry the weight of a miracle. Because a child working in the dump today will become an adult who still works there tomorrow, with no education, no healthcare, and no alternatives. It's a cycle that keeps repeating, because poverty breeds exploitation, and exploitation keeps poverty alive. And even in the middle of this hell, there are those trying to break the cycle. ActionAid is an organization that acts where no one looks. It builds schools, offers care, and creates opportunities, one child at a time, thanks to long-distance sponsorships and to those who chose to make a difference. Together with ActionAid, we've already traveled the world, from Sierra Leone to Bangladesh. We've told the stories of children forced to work too early, and how, thanks to the power of an aware online community, we've managed to have a real impact on their lives. And after all I've seen, and every story that stayed with me, I know I can't look away. That's why I want to meet the children who are now growing up far from AGBOGBLOSHie, who, thanks to someone, just one person, even had a chance that once seemed impossible. I want to see with my own eyes what happens when a life truly changes. This child is drawing a computer, the keyboard, a mouse, speakers. And there's something powerful about seeing him draw what he dreams of, what he wishes for to study properly, when in fact we just came from the world's largest tech waste dump, where for children that same trash is just scraps of metal, yet here for him it's a dream. the dream of using computers to study. And it's moving.
Support from the sponsors and individuals go a long way. ActionAid, we've used that the sponsorship program to build schools like this. And this schools creates an enabling environment where children can thrive, and in their educational journey, they can learn and become what they want to become in future. For the likes of those in, for instance, AGBOGBLOSHIE, what happens is those children do not even realize their dreams of becoming who they want to become in future. And as a child at that age, fending for yourself is not your right, or neither is it your responsibility. It's the responsibility of their parents. But those children in the dump sites find themselves there because of one, poverty. And so it's a cycle that will continue. But for children in schools like this, they are being given that enabling environment where they can learn and thrive and become who they want to become. So that is the difference. A child in AGBOGBLOSHIE might not realize their dream in the long run, but a child here in school can become who they want to become. It might be a little contribution from the Western world, but it goes a long way to change the lives of these beautiful children here. Because one, when you give a child education, you are transforming not just the child, but the whole entire community. So we're hoping that with their little funds, we can build more schools for more children.
There are experiences that truly change you. They force you to stop, look inside yourself, and ask uncomfortable questions. And for me, this was one of those moments. In AGBOGBLOSHIE, I saw children carrying the full weight of our consumption, of our modernity, and our comfort. I saw small hands, wounded and burned, digging through metals for just a few grams of survival. And I saw many boys bent over the earth, breathing in plastic and smoke as if it were normal air. And right there, I understood something simple, but maybe too hard to accept. This is not an accident of fate. It's the invisible price of our comfort. But deep down, we are connected. In the bad, as we've seen, but also in the good. Because in the middle of this hell, I saw another story. I saw children today sitting at school desks, learning, playing, and dreaming. Doctors, teachers, football players, children who for the first time can imagine themselves somewhere else. And if today we can do something from our own homes, well, it's sponsoring a child from afar, because it pulls them out of the dump, to give them a notebook, a pencil, a glimmer of hope. Because sponsorship is not charity, it's justice. It's placing back into a child's hands a piece of future that was taken from them, and finally giving them the chance to build it. Sponsor a child with ActionAid today.